Hi, I'm Dr. Aanchal and today I'm going to tell you about sunscreens and also review the Lotus Botanicals Vitamin C Skin Brightening MatteFLUID Sunscreen. So let's get started. What are sunscreens? Sunscreens are products that are formulated to protect our skin from harmful sun rays and ultraviolet radiation. Sunscreens have to go through a rigorous testing for it to be available in the market and also for it to make the claims of providing the protection that is mentioned on the packaging. Why do we need sunscreen? When we are out in the sun, we are exposed to UVA and UVB radiation, and SPF 50 protects against almost 98% of UVB rays. What is SPF? There are two main ultraviolet radiation that reaches us when we expose ourselves to the sun. One is UVA and second is UVB. UVA consists of 95% of sun rays and UVB consists of 5%. UVA penetrates deeper and is responsible for skin aging and collagen breakdown, whereas UVB is responsible for skin burn. SPF stands for sun protection factor and is a measure of protection against UVB rays. So how is it calculated? SPF is a ratio of minimal erythema dose of protected skin divided by minimal erythema dose of unprotected skin. SPF 30 means that it protects against almost 97% of UVB rays and SPF 50 protects against almost 98% of UVB rays. What is PA rating? PA is the measure of protection against UVA rays. Your sunscreen should have at least 3+ rating for it to be effective in protecting against UVA radiation. How to read a sunscreen label? First, look at SPF. SPF should be 30 or more. PA value should be 3+ or more. It should be broad spectrum. It should be water resistant. Especially if you're going to engage in water sports, then you want to look for a sunscreen that gives you water resistant protection. Then look for a tint. If your sunscreen has a tint, it will provide extra blue light protection. Then you want to look at the filters. You can go for chemical filters if you want a lightweight sunscreen. If you are somebody who has sensitive skin type, then you want to go for a plain physical sunscreen. Then look for the consistency of the sunscreen. You want to use a gel-based sunscreen if you have oily or combination skin type. If you want to use a cream formulation of sunscreen, if you have a dry skin type, or go for a lotion formulation or spray formulation if you want to apply it in a large body surface area. Then you look for the presence of antioxidants in your sunscreen. Having an antioxidant is always an added bonus in a sunscreen. Now let's review the Lotus Botanicals Vitamin C Skin Brightening MatteFLUID Sunscreen. I've been trying a lot of Lotus sunscreens lately. Whenever a new patient walks into my clinic and I ask them what sunscreen they're using, a lot of them say Lotus. So I was like, I have to get my hands on Lotus sunscreens. I've tried a lot of them, but this one really caught my fancy and I have been very impressed by the formulation. This is the Lotus Botanicals Vitamin C Skin Brightening MatteFLUID Sunscreen. This sunscreen is very lightweight, it spreads easily and still gives good protection. So what protection does this sunscreen provide? It's a broad spectrum sunscreen with SPF 50, PA 3+, and it contains filters which protect against both UVA and UVB. It contains titanium dioxide, octyl methoxycinnamate, butyl methoxy dibenzoyl methane and benzophenone 3. How does it feel? This sunscreen glides smoothly, it is non-sticky, non-oily and does not make your skin appear shiny. It blends seamlessly. The MatteFLUID formula works because the skin does not appear shiny, but yet it is not very blotchy or gritty. Whenever you use a matte sunscreen, it's very difficult to blend, but this one glides very smoothly, it's easy to blend and is also not blotchy or gritty, which is always an advantage. Because of how lightweight and non-sticky it is, reapplication becomes very simple. And we know how important it is to reapply a sunscreen. Nobody likes a sunscreen that is oily or sticky. So this sunscreen feels very light on the skin. Why is this sunscreen unique? This sunscreen has a matte fluid consistency. It is very lightweight, blends seamlessly, it leaves no white cast, it's non-sticky, not oily. Why do we need SPF 50? Indian skin type is very prone to develop dark spots. So we need to use a sunscreen with a high SPF. And it has been shown in studies that we do not apply sunscreen in the amount that it should be applied. We always under apply the sunscreen. So the SPF that we get ultimately is not as high as that is mentioned on the packaging. So let's say you're using SPF 30 sunscreen, but the amount that we use on the skin, you might get SPF of only 15 or 20. So using a higher SPF kind of gives you that protection, so that even if you tend to under apply, you are still getting good protection. If you are somebody who has melasma or is struggling with dark spots, then you want to use a sunscreen with SPF 50. Presence of vitamin C. Having an antioxidant in a sunscreen is always a good thing. We know that UV exposure is the most common reason for development of free radicals in the skin. So these free radicals tend to cause skin damage and can accelerate skin aging. So having an antioxidant kind of provides that extra protection. So you are protecting the skin against UV rays, and whatever UV rays penetrate, that can be neutralized by the presence of antioxidants. So this way it gives a double protection to the skin. This sunscreen contains kakadu plum extract, which is a natural source of vitamin C. How to use this sunscreen? Use 2 finger length of sunscreen on your whole face. If you have a very oily skin type, then on a cleansed face, you can just go on directly with the sunscreen in the morning. If you have dry skin type, then you want to apply a thin layer of moisturizer before you go on with the sunscreen. Apply the sunscreen about 15 to 20 minutes before you step out. Make sure you reapply the sunscreen every 2 hours. Why do I like the sunscreen? It has SPF 50. It is broad spectrum sunscreen, gives PA3+ protection, it is non-sticky, not oily, has an antioxidant, has vitamin C in it, and it has effective filters such as octinoxate, avobenzone, oxybenzone and titanium dioxide, which give robust protection to the skin against UV rays. Who will it not suit? This Lotus Botanical sunscreen is formulated with potent botanical extracts. Usually you should not develop any allergy to it, but I recommend you do a patch test before you use the sunscreen. If you have rosacea, if you have very sensitive skin or red irritated skin, or if you have had history of developing redness or irritation or even darkening on application of sunscreen, then you don't want to use the sunscreen. Then you should go for a plain zinc oxide or a plain physical sunscreen. Also, if you are somebody who doesn't like fragrance in their skincare products, then you can avoid the sunscreen. So there you go, a detailed video on sunscreens and a review of Lotus Botanicals Vitamin C Skin Brightening Matte Fluid Sunscreen. I want to thank Lotus Botanicals for sponsoring this video. I have been using the sunscreen for some time now and have been really liking consistency. It really feels very nice on the skin and does not feel oily or sticky. Do give it a try and let me know. I hope you found this video useful. If you like such skin and hair related content, then you can follow me on my Instagram handle Dr. Aanchal MD. I post such skin and hair related content daily. Thank you for watching.